Almost every kid goes through a gaming phase during their childhood. We're often exposed to video games by older siblings or parents or other family or friends. Some kids are immediately hooked to the experience, while others grow out of it and move on to other hobbies. But those who stick with gaming often dream of pursuing a career involving their hobby in some form or fashion. But this is sometimes looked down on by parents who believe it's just a waste of time. In some cases, the kids are able to convince their parents that they aren't just wasting time and are actually pursuing a passion with a lucrative future. One player who managed to prove the naysayers wrong was Jaden Wolfiezzz Ashman, who's a talented Fortnite player that made it to the Fortnite World Cup in 2019. Wolfiezzz and his duo partner Rojo managed to come in second place and secure a huge $2,250,000 prize, which proved to Wolfie's mother that he was not wasting time all those years, but instead building himself a legacy. This is the story of Wolfiezzz, who came in second place in one of the biggest esports tournaments the world has ever seen at the young age of 15. He changed the life of his family with his winnings and still has a long, lucrative career ahead of him. To fully understand the passion and talent behind the young star, we need to start at the source of his gaming career. Wolfiezzz started gaming at a young age. His uncle was the gamer in the family, and Wolfiezzz constantly watched and even bothered him while he played. The exposure to gaming at a young age caused Wolfiezzz to become enamored with video games and led to the passion that he has today.
From like 6 years old, my uncle used to play like Gears of War, so I used to watch him and just like get on his nerves all the time, like bug him and tease him, like mess with him whilst he plays. So like he got me into gaming from like really young.
Wolfiezzz received his first Xbox when he was 6 and immediately dove into any game he could get his hands on. He continued to hone his skills as he grew up and perfected the way to use a controller. The years of experience would eventually pay off when Fortnite came out. Wolfiezzz played Fortnite the very first day it came out and was immediately hooked. The game was perfect for his skills, and he immediately started dominating other players in online matches. His passion for gaming was not fully supported by his family, however, and Wolfiezzz and his mom had several clashes over the amount of time he spent gaming.
It got to a point where I threw his Xbox away, so I think that answers your question.
Wolfiezzz spent so much time playing Fortnite that his schoolwork took a back seat and his grades started to drop. This was the final straw for Wolfie's mother, who eventually took his Xbox away and even broke one of his headsets. She believed he was wasting time by playing Fortnite all day and didn't believe he could actually make a career out of gaming. She would eventually support her son once she saw that he was actually an incredible player and not just some kid wasting time.
It's caused, on the way here, it's caused some tensions, hasn't it? Some arguments with your mother, throwing out an Xbox, she said, and breaking one of your headsets.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, what's it called? Me and my mum have had like a few tensions between like my gaming and stuff. Like she's been a bit worried about the amount of hours that I've been playing on it, thinking that like I'm just sitting in my room wasting my time and everything.
It wasn't long before Wolfiezzz established himself as a strong competitor in Fortnite. He had incredible reaction time and could build faster on a controller than a lot of players on mouse and keyboard. Wolfiezzz needed another solid player to compete with, however, and eventually found the perfect duo partner, Rojo. Rojo had been competing in various Fortnite tournaments since mid-2018. He managed to place 4th in the Fall Skirmish Series EU Week 4 and had competed in various events previously. Rojo eventually teamed up with Wolfiezzz and formed a solid chemistry that allowed both players to perform better and place higher in events and tournaments. Rojo and Wolfiezzz competed in a few Fortnite tournaments in March 2019, but didn't place very high in any of them. But they didn't let that faze them, and they pushed through the tough month with their eyes still set on glory. In April 2019, they set their sights on achieving a huge goal, qualifying for the Fortnite World Cup. The two talented players competed in each duo weekend for their chance to qualify for the World Cup, but had a tough time securing their spot. The two players placed 27th in Week 6, which was the closest they came to qualifying at that point, but was still not enough. In Week 8, they actually performed worse and couldn't even break into the top 50. The duo only had one more chance to make it to the World Cup in Week 10, and if it failed, all their hard work throughout the last couple of months would have been for nothing. Both players also tried to qualify for the solo portion of the World Cup, but neither found success in the solo qualifier events either. Wolfiezzz and Rojo were not willing to give up and blow their chance to make it to the World Cup. They fought hard through the Week 10 qualifying event and managed to secure the first place spot. This marked the first big win for Wolfiezzz, and the first time that he could show his family that there was real money to be made in Fortnite. The duo won a $10,000 cash prize and their spot to compete in the Fortnite World Cup in New York City.
The final standings, the last four coming out of Europe. It's been so absurdly competitive, and let's take a look. Punch some tickets going through. Wolfiezzz and Rojo taking the top spot.
The Fortnite World Cup had the world's attention. Every player who made it this far was competing in one of the biggest esports events in history, and now had opportunities that they never even dreamed of. One such opportunity was being sponsored by an esports organization, which is exactly what happened to Wolfiezzz and Rojo. Not long after qualifying for the World Cup, Wolfiezzz and Rojo were signed by Lazarus, a Canadian esports organization. Wolfiezzz signed a $50,000 yearly contract, which gave the young star his first taste of consistent income from gaming. This also made his mom see his dedication to Fortnite as a true passion with a lucrative future, and not just a way to waste time. Wolfiezzz almost didn't get the chance to make it to the World Cup, however. Wolfiezzz and his mother had to acquire visas for him to compete in the World Cup, which took place in the United States. Wolfiezzz made a mistake on his application, which caused it to be denied. This was a huge problem, as they had to get to the US or he'd miss out on a huge opportunity. Thankfully, Wolfiezz's mother was able to secure an emergency meeting that allowed his visa to get approved. If this failed, they were going to have to go to Belgium to secure visas, which would have been a huge hassle.
Yes,
When I
tell us
realised-
what happened with the visa.
Basically, what happened was Jaden ticked the wrong box on the ESTA application. You have to do it
It would
online.
be easier
Yes,
if it
you
was
did, yeah.
buttons, wouldn't it?
To do that, and he's ticked the wrong box. My one got accepted, his one, he's ticked the wrong box. So for that reason, it got denied.
Wolfiezzz made it to New York in time for the competition and was so overwhelmed by the city. He explored with his new teammates and enjoyed himself before buckling down for the intense tournament ahead.
Being in New York right now for the Fortnite World Cup feels amazing. Like looking at all the different streets and like the long avenues of just like high-rise buildings is just crazy.
The duo had a rough time during the first 3 matches. They were unable to find their footing and couldn't really secure a victory, but they did achieve 8 eliminations, which kept them in the top 10 teams. They developed a strategy of at least hitting the placement bonus to continue to earn points even if it wasn't directly from winning or eliminating players.
They just had one great pop-off game, and suddenly they're in the running here. It is anyone's game in the top 10 because you have to be consistent, and again, there's always those wild cards, those pop-off moments. And
The duo secured 2 more eliminations in Game 4, which moved them up to 7th place, but were determined to keep climbing the ranks in the last 2 matches. Wolfiezzz put on a phenomenal performance in Game 5 and secured 4 kills, which brought the duo to 4th place with 1 match to go. They continued their strategy of trying to make it to the final circle for the placement points and picking up kills on unsuspecting players. Wolfiezzz went down first, but Rojo managed to avoid players and pick up a final kill before being eliminated. The duo did not win any of the 6 matches, but their eliminations and consistent placing allowed them to finish with 47 points and secure the 2nd place spot. The 2 players took home $2,250,000 in prize money and held the title of the 2nd best duo in the world. Wolfiezzz, coming in 2nd place in the World Cup, finally proved to his mother that he was not wasting his time and was actually one of the best players in the world. Wolfiezzz also bought his mother a house with his winnings to ease some of the financial pressure on his family, which also I'm sure definitely helped change her opinion.
Jaden, what are you going to do with the money? £900,000 I think it is that you've won.
Yeah.
What are you going to spend it on?
So probably buy my mum a house so we can just just chill
Because
out.
you share a room, don't you, with your brother?
Yeah, me and my brother, I have a bunk bed, so my setup's here, my bed's just right next to it. So yeah, definitely buy a house so I can like separate my gaming from like
sleeping.
sleep.
While Wolfiezzz celebrated his victory with his teammates and family, some members of the Fortnite community questioned his victory because he had used a controller.
Oh, you're playing on a controller?
Yeah.
Wait, you're a controller player?
Yeah.
You're lying. No.
You didn't know that? He literally got like 8 kills out of the air yesterday.
Wait, you're on controller?
Yeah.
There was a guy flying, he just like 200'd him.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no.
The controller versus keyboard and mouse debate has been around for years. Keyboard and mouse players insist that aim assist on controllers gives an unfair advantage. Controller players claim it doesn't make a huge difference and that keyboard and mouse players still have more precise aiming. Regardless of where you stand on this debate, Wolfiezzz using a controller in the World Cup did attract some criticism. There were a couple players using controllers in the World Cup, which caused keyboard and mouse diehards to complain. Wolfiezzz took this in stride though, and believed that if it was a problem, the option would not be allowed by Epic. Wolfiezzz using a controller also proved that it was a viable option for players, and a keyboard and mouse was not needed to compete at a high level.
I guess the big sort of, controversy about the Fortnite World Cup is that it allowed aim assist for controller players. What's your thoughts on that?
The aim-assist debate is just stupid. It's in the game, so there's no point in complaining about it. Like skill controller players like me and myself and like other players that I know, they take advantage of it, but it's in the game for a reason, so just let it be.
Let it be. Let it be.
Regardless of the naysayers, Wolfie has continued to compete in Fortnite and is still one of the best controller players in the world. Since the World Cup, Wolfiezzz has competed in various tournaments and events. He won another 30 grand at Fortnite Championship Series Chapter 2 Season 1 EU Grand Finals and has won other smaller amounts. He most recently competed in the Fortnite Champions Series Chapter 2 Season 2 Grand Finals and secured another $1,500 in prize money. In March of 2020, Wolfiezzz confirmed that he is no longer part of Lazarus Gaming and is looking for a new organization. He's amassed a solid following over the last 2 years and is still a solid competitive player who any organization would be super lucky to have. Wolfiezzz also confirmed that he plans on turning gaming and content creation into a career even after he's done competing.
What I've had to do.
Okay, but career-wise, I know it's a long way off. Do you see yourself staying in gaming? You think you can make, well, you've already made a living out of it. Do you think you can make even more money out of it?
Yeah, definitely. I'm really like focused on like my gaming, so I'm definitely gonna try and make a career out of it, like streaming and content creating. So I hopefully can make a decent living out of it.
He consistently uploads highlights to his YouTube channel and streams almost every day on Twitch. Wolfiezzz did not seem to be planning on quitting Fortnite anytime soon, so fans will be able to enjoy the talented controller player's content for the foreseeable future. Epic Games also recently announced the Fortnite Championship Series Invitational, which Wolfiezzz will likely be invited to and can compete for a huge $2 million prize pool. Epic Games does not seem to be slowing their esports scene down in any way, so Wolfiezzz will have plenty of opportunities to prove that he's still a great player and he can continue to earn money for his family. Wolfiezzz is an inspiration for aspiring players with dreams of making it to the big leagues. But remember, there should always be a balance in gaming and other essential parts of life, such as schoolwork. But hey, still a good reminder, don't let your dreams die at the first sign of trouble or doubt.